Hello, this is Chapter 9 Fair Game Review, journal pages 183 and 184. And we're finding the area of a square or rectangle. So we remember from just the last chapter that to find the area of a square or rectangle, it's just length times width. So here we'd have 8 times 8. So I like to write down the formulas first, and since I like it, I will make you do it because I'm the teacher and I get to do whatever I want. Whoop. Length times width. So the area equals 8 times 8 in this case. So the area equals 64, and it's area, so it's centimeters squared. For number 2, much the same. Area of a rectangle equals length times width. And you might think to yourself, why do I have to write that down every time? Because every time you write it, it's getting more solid and more solid in your head, and eventually you will never forget it. 7 times 12, and 7 times 12 is 84 yards squared. Number 3, a little, not tricky, but a little more difficult here just because of the decimals, not really that much harder. Area of a rectangle, length times width. And we do a cursive L, so it doesn't look like a 1 there. Area equals 9.2 times 6.4. And really important that you make your decimals all the way down here and your multiplication sign up here. It just looks like a lot of decimals in there. Well, I don't know what 9.2 times 6.4 is, so I'll do that right here. 9.2, 6.4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 9 is 36. Put a 0. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 9 is 54. 55. 8, 8, 8, 5. 2 numbers behind the decimal, so 2 numbers behind the decimal. Our area equals 58 and 88 hundredths inches squared. And that makes sense because 9 times 6 is 54. These are both a little bigger than that, so our answer is a little bigger than that. It's a little crowded in there, so I'm going to circle my answer. Number 4, area equals length times width. Area equals 5/6 times 5/6. So my area equals 5 times 5 is 25. Remember, when we multiply fractions, we multiply across the top to get our numerator. We multiply across the bottom to get our denominator. So 6 times 6 is 36. 25 36ths meters squared. Number 5. Area equals length times width. Area equals, now this is 2 1/3 times 1 1/3. And what you cannot do is multiply the two whole numbers and multiply the two fractions. We turn these into fractions. So our area really equals, this is 6 7/3 times 3 4/3. 7 times 4 is 28. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, normally I would say you can just leave your answer like that. It's simplified. It's an improper fraction. That's okay. But our problem was given to us in mixed numbers, so they probably want their answer back in a mixed number. 9 goes into 28 3 times, which is 27, which means I have 1 left over. And that's millimeters squared. Number 6. Area equals length times width. Area equals 21.3 times 15.1. I have no idea what those are, but I do know 15 times 20 is 300, so our answer is going to be a little bigger than 300. I cannot just put, my answer is a little bigger than 300. I do have to actually work this out. So 21.3 and 15.1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 15, 5, 6, 10, 2 zeros, and a 3, 1, 2. Add those up. 3, 6, 11, 2, 3. Wow, I didn't line those up very well. I almost made a mistake there. That would have been crazy. 2 numbers behind the decimal, 2 numbers behind the decimal. Yep, near 300, a little bigger. That makes sense. So our area equals 321 and 63 hundredths feet squared. That one's a little crowded as well. My decimal ones seem to be getting crowded. I'll circle that. Circle that one too, just because I'm in a circling kind of mood. An artist buys a square canvas with a side length of 2.5 feet. What is the area of the canvas? Well, it's a square canvas, and we know that the length and the width will be the same there. So area equals length times width. Area equals 2.5 times 2.5. Area equals, well, I know 25 times 25 is 625. So when I multiply 2.5 times 2.5, I'm going to get 625. 2 numbers behind the decimal, so 2 numbers behind the decimal. 6.25 feet squared. On the other side of the paper, we're finding the area of triangles, and we remember that the area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The base is this right here. The height is right here. This isn't the base because it's laying on that. Okay? This is the base because the base and the height will always be perpendicular to each other. They'll show us they're perpendicular by giving us this little right angle mark here, or perpendicular mark. This mark always touches the base and the height. See how it's basically like pointing to the base and height. Like here they are right here, so we don't have to wonder what they are. Because sometimes we'll have triangles and all of these numbers will be in here, and some kids will get confused, but it's like, nope, just look for that mark. It's touching the base and the height. So we have area equals 1/2 times 10 times 4. Well, area equals, well, 1/2 of 10 is 5, and 5 times 4 is 20. 20 centimeters squared. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. Area equals 1/2 times 8 times 3. Now I could put 1/2 3 times 8 because it doesn't matter which way I put these in there because of the commutative property of multiplication. But since I would like to do 1/2 of an even number first, I try to put the even number first if I have a choice. 1/2 of 8 is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. So my area equals 12 feet squared. Number 10, area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. Area equals 1/2. Here's the perpendicular mark, and it's touching the 6 and the 7. So 6 times 7. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 7 is 21 meters squared. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. Even though we're writing this formula down each time, many students forget that 1/2 when they're actually solving this, so don't forget. 1/2 times 12 times 5. And 1/2 of 12 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30, of course, so 30 yards squared. And 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times 4 times 5. Now this one's a little tricky because look, the height is actually outside of the triangle. We had to drop the height straight down from this point right here to make it a right angle perpendicular with the base. Now we don't add this amount onto the base because it's not actually part of the base, but in order to make it perpendicular with the base, we had to extend that out and draw it here. Look at, here's the perpendicular mark. It is still touching the base and the height. So 4 times 5. Area equals 1/2 of 4, which is 2. 2 times 5, which is 10. 10 inches squared. And finally, same kind of thing here. My height is outside of my triangle. It's okay. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 2 times 9. Wow, all of those problems, they gave me at least one even number. They're so nice. Area equals half of 2 is 1, and 1 times 9 is, let me think, 9 millimeters squared. And then finally, a spirit banner for a pep rally has the shape of a triangle. The base of the banner is 8 feet, and the height is 6 feet. What is the area? So we have area equaling 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 times 8 times 6. 1/2 of 8 is 4, and 4 times 6 is 24 feet squared. Well, I hope this was quick and easy for you. If you have any questions, make sure you're asking. I do want you to understand. See you!
Ah, look who's here. Well, don't say anything, just listen up. You might just learn something.
Hiya, my name is Kermit, and today I'm here to talk to you about this new super up-to-date latest model rectangle. Now this rectangle, as you can see, is a very special shape. Now the rectangle has 4 sides. Let us count them. 4 sides. The top, that's 1 side. The bottom here, that's 2. This side over here, that's 3 sides. And way over here, that's 4. Okay, see, 4 sides. Now you will also notice that the rectangle has 4 corners, and each of these corners is the same. In other words, each of those corners goes zzz, zzz, just like that, you see? Now remember, friends, the rectangle with 4 sides and 4 corners, all the same, and it's got 2 eyes and 2 eyes.
Hi.
Excuse me, fellow, but would you mind sort of bugging out of here? Because I'm trying to explain about the rectangle, and if you could just leave so I could do my explanation about the rectangle.
Sure, buddy.
All right, fine. Now, as I was about to say, the rectangle here has 4 sides, one of which is broken, and it's also got another broken... Listen, why don't you just leave and go find yourself a circle or a square or something like that, huh?
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, what you see here used to be a rectangle.
And it still is.
Hmm?
It's a wreck, and it's a tangle.